Lightbulb minutes. In this video, we're taking a look at kinetic energy. But first off, I want you to look around your house and find an object, any object. It could be a table or even a tin can. And I want you to keep it in mind. And I'll tell you why at the end of this video. There are several energy stores in which energy can be transferred into, such as gravitational potential energy, elastic potential energy, and thermal energy. But in this quick video, we're going to be taking a look at kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is stored when an object moves, but this can be transferred into other stores as well. The equation for kinetic energy is Ek equals half mass times velocity squared. Ek is kinetic energy, which is measured in joules. Half m is mass, which is measured in kilograms. And v squared is velocity squared, measured in meters per second. Now, it's interesting to note that despite it being velocity, kinetic energy is not a vector because 2 times 2 is 4 and minus 2 times minus 2 is still 4. So because it's squared, it's not going to be negative, it's always going to be positive. So whichever direction the speed is in, it's going to be the same. Now let's take a look at some examples. With a rocket, chemical energy is stored in the rocket's fuel, and this can be transferred into kinetic energy as the rocket takes off. As the rocket gets higher above the Earth, the chemical energy is likely to decrease as it's being transferred into kinetic energy and the fuel is becoming less. As well as this, the kinetic energy is likely to transfer into gravitational potential energy as the rocket gets higher. It can also be transferred into thermal energy because of the fire coming out of the rocket. And with this ball, the minimum amount of kinetic energy it has is when it's at the top of its bounce and when it's on the ground, whereas the maximum point is when it's in the middle of the bounce. Then with tennis players, they store chemical energy in their bodies from when they eat food, and that chemical energy gets transferred into kinetic energy as they play tennis. When the arm and racket swing, the kinetic energy from the arm and racket then gets transferred into the ball as it gets hit across the court. And now, for a quick question. A car weighing 1,000 kilograms is travelling at 35 meters per second. How much kinetic energy is stored in the car? If you got the answer 612,500 joules, you are correct. Now, as for the object that I asked you to look for at the beginning of the video, I want you to pretend that it's a USB port and you are transferring all of the information you've learnt here into that object. This can help you to remember the information better, as you can make a connection between the two, and by remembering the object, you might be able to remember the information you've learnt here.